Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of TV is Our Real Mom. I'm Dave,
I'm Katie.
and you are listening to the TV is Our Real Mom podcast. And in this episode, we will be discussing Alone, which is on the History Channel, a show about surviving in the wilderness. We'll be covering season 4, episode 4. And Katie, what did you think of the episode?
Well, I'm a little bummed. My winner picks, the Team Baird, are the only ones that haven't found each other yet, and they're not looking good. They're starving like it's day 72.
Yeah, I mean, they are really big guys, so I suppose
Yeah, that's true.
they're struggling a lot more than, but I mean, I feel like you got a lot of big guys on this season. I don't
Yep.
know.
Yep. Well, the Brockdorfs seem a little bit slight. They don't seem like large men.
The Brockdorfs, which is Pete and
Pete and
Sam.
Sam.
Yeah, they don't seem like nearly as big as like all the tall white brown haired guys and
Yeah.
the Jim and the Jim and the Ted Baird. You know,
Yeah.
they don't seem as big as those guys.
Those
So
are like legit mountain men, those guys. I can't wait. I hope they're there a long time and they get like full on beards going, but I don't know. It's not looking good.
right, for you talk about Jim and Ted.
That's right. I'm talking about my
Yeah.
winter picks. I felt so confident. The first minute I saw them, I was like, oh, there's my guys. And whew, I don't know.
Yeah, they could still pull it out, but yeah, it's looking less and less likely. Like how do you go from being like struggling that much, kind of playing from behind in a situation like this, you know?
Yeah, it
Um,
seems like the one can't eat enough to even move to get to his brother. And the one that is already just having shelter, just waiting, he can barely get enough to survive. And I'm like, how are two of these guys going to get enough to survive?
right,
It's
they're gonna find each other, and then they're just gonna be laying there until they have to push the button.
maybe one of them will sacrifice himself and be like, okay, eat me and you can have $500,000.
Oh, dude, that's the way to go. I mean, they're practically twins. I mean, that's part of the
They look
advantage
so
of
much the same. I can't tell the difference.
there's like subtle differences in their appearance, but they do look remarkably similar. But yeah, that's what twins are for, you know.
They're
One of
not
them,
are they twins?
no, they're not twins. They're like 3 years apart.
Oh, then why'd
But
you say that's what
I'm
twins are?
calling them twins because they look like twins.
They do. They look very similar. I'm having issues. Jim, which one's Jim? Is he the hiker or the waiter?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I like
Jim,
both of
let me
them.
see. Look at my notes. Jim is out of food,
They're both out of food.
a ways to go. Yeah, so Jim is the one hiking.
Okay.
He says he hopes Ted saved him some filet mignon. Don't think that's gonna
It's a
be.
wish that's going to go unfulfilled unless he catches a cow within the next 2 days before he finds them. How far apart did he say did it say that they were? 2 miles?
These guys, I kind of missed that, but it seems like every time they show the map of those two, they're like on opposite ends of the island. like,
Well, if
like
the
you know,
one guy's not moving, he's like, I don't have enough calories to even go anywhere. So he's not moving.
yeah, I don't think he's moving very fast because, like no joke, it did seem like every time they showed the map, they showed them really far apart. I don't know. Did you catch anything about the distance? Was it
No, I thought it said 2.2 miles at one point. And maybe they're just the scale of the map is off to make it look further away than it is.
right? Yeah.
But I missed it a couple of times when it said the distance.
hmm Yeah, I don't know either, but it doesn't seem like they're doing too good.
Which was the one that was drying his butt by the fire?
Let me see. Is that Jim or Ted?
I don't know the difference. I mean, it's virtually meaningless if you tell me a name because the hiking brother was drying his butt, right? Or was it the waiting
Yeah,
brother?
that would be if it was the hiking brother, that would be Jim.
Okay, well, he said it was his favorite part of the day.
Yeah, that's Jim.
Okay.
He ends up camping next to a mountain lion trail.
Yeah, and he like
Uh,
says, "Bring it on, mountain lion."
yeah, like that was pretty I thought that was an enjoyable part when he's like, "Let's go, baby, come on." Like,
I know they did. I really enjoyed what he said about how this was just life for people before. Like, we're capable of doing this. We're just so spoiled by modern convenience that we don't think we are. I
Yeah,
think that was Jim.
yeah, was it Ted? No, it was
I don't
probably
know. It was a Baird brother.
it was a Baird. But no, that was one of my favorite parts of
Yeah.
the episode, and maybe even the series, because that was
Yeah.
like, I've never heard someone put it in such a, I don't know, profound sort of way that we think we need, all this stuff,
Or I was talking
but
about how guys who go hunting now, they can like make it so easy. They don't have to be an athlete. They can just sit and drink beer. And for most people I know that hunt, and it's not that many, with the exception of maybe our cousin who enjoys more, I don't know, guess wilderness hunting. That's kind of what it is. Like in November, all the guys get their beer coolers and they go and they hunt deer. And it's not like this life or death strenuous thing. It's just it's leisurely,
right. Yeah, the part I liked is when he said, like what we think is hard or difficult these days is ridiculous compared to like what our ancestors,
Yeah, even
what
like
was
50 years ago, the stuff they had to do. They had technology, but not the technology we have today. They still had to work, harder. And then the further you go back, that was just life. And I can't help but feel that we are going to become the Wall-E people someday.
right, just fat people in
Floating on a
chairs.
chair. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not just as guilty of it. Jeez Louise, I have a podcast about television. That's like,
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're all guilty of it in
Yeah.
today's society. I mean, but I guess you could say like it's sort of like standing on the shoulders of giants or whatever. Like,
That's true.
our ancestors came before us and paved the way so that we could sit on our asses. I don't know.
So
Like,
that we could watch Netflix
so
every
that we could
night?
be more comfortable, I guess. I don't know. Like, that's a pretty profound philosophical question to, pick apart. But yeah, who knows what our ancestors wanted to see. What do you think they wanted for future generations? Did they want us to
I mean, they
have
certainly couldn't envision where we are today. Nobody could have. You can envision generic futuristic stuff, but I don't think they would have been content, seeing how lazy we've become. I'm a very lazy person. I'm willing to admit it.
right? Yeah.
And there's a big part of me that hates that about myself. And then I see people like this that just like get torn up by this crazy hike and almost die. That, it's like, geez, maybe I should do some more.
I know. And yeah, he really does put it into perspective. Like, he's like, this is really damn hard. I'm getting my ass kicked. But like, this was just what needed to be done for our ancestors. Like that, probably what they're going through probably wasn't hard to them. There was probably something even harder that was hard to them, and he talked about how it is all sort of mind over matter, because you aren't even aware of like what you're capable of. You're capable.
And it's also a mental trick he has to play on himself to get himself to keep going. Like,
right.
telling himself that is a motivation. That's what he even says when he says it. Like, every time
Right.
I think
Yeah.
I'm out.
I think everything he's saying is true, but yeah, whether or not it's true or not, I mean, it's gonna be the thing he needs to tell himself, to be able to do this. So that was a really good part. I think just a short little part, but like so much in there, so much to think about.
I really like those Bairds. I hope they get it together.
Right. Yeah, another thing that our ancestors had to do that we don't have to do anymore is wipe with moss. Apparently, wiping with moss is not so bad. Apparently, we're missing out.
As long as it's not like, something you're allergic to. Sure.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, Ted was saying that apparently moss is like better than toilet paper.
Maybe it's just another thing he's telling himself to get him through it.
Yeah, probably more of that.
I'd rather wipe with toilet paper, but I'm sure moss would do in a pinch.
Yeah, I'd do it. I'd try it once.
If you didn't have to?
if someone was like, "Here, try this," I'd be like, "Okay, I'll do
And
it."
there was a roll of toilet paper right there.
Yeah, I mean, as an experience thing, I'd try it.
Yeah, I suppose yeah, okay, sure.
As long as I knew what they were giving me was moss and it wasn't like poison ivy or something.
Well, that'd just be mean.
Yeah.
You want that
Anyways,
person as your friend anyway.
what else do we get from Jim and Ted in this episode? Mountain lion or fighting with a mountain lion.
Yeah, he's like, oh, he must have scattered. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, he scattered. You were freaking yelling at him. What do you think he's going to do?
Yeah, maybe he'd get freaked out and attack him. I don't know.
I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah, maybe not. Ted wants more limpets. He starts making a boat.
Oh, yeah, cool. The boat.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know if this is what I should be doing, but I'm doing it.
Yeah, I thought
that
was a interesting point. How he said, I don't know if this is the right decision. He said that's like a huge part of the game out there is like, you never know if you're making the right decision, but you kind of have to make something and go with it. And it's like,
that's basically life.
Yeah, that's basically life in a nutshell, but it's just amplified in the wilderness.
It's truly life or death decisions out in a situation like that. Yeah.
Yeah, a wilderness living situation is just a more intense microcosm of everyday life.
Yeah.
Making decisions like that. And yeah, it's yet to be seen if the making of the boat is that a good thing?
Well, if he gets fished by doing it, sure. It's probably a very good thing because they're not coming up to his net.
Do you think he knows how to make a boat? Like a good boat?
I'm sure he can make a sufficient boat.
Sufficient enough to get him on the water and not flip over like
Jose.
Pablo?
No, that wasn't his name.
I called him Pablo. Pedro.
No, it wasn't Pedro. It was Jose.
Pedro.
I think it was Jose.
Yeah. Shit.
Jose made a kayak, which is already an unstable vessel.
Right. It looks like Ted is making more of a stable boat, like a boat.
Like a boat.
Like
a straight up boat.
Not a kayak, yeah.
No. The kayak thing, I mean, when I first get in a kayak, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, kayaks are a little shaky, especially ones that are homemade, Talked a little bit about Faggy. What is it? Autophagy?
Excuse me?
Autophagy.
What the heck is that?
Muscle consumption. It's when your body starts eating the muscle.
Whose body is eating its own muscle?
That would be Jim. They're talking about Jim. I forget what they said. They said something like, "Oh, it takes X amount of hours without food to go into."
Oh, when your body starts eating itself.
Right, muscle though, not even just fat, apparently. Because I found this weird because I always thought like when you go without food, like that's what your fat reserves are for, is like you burn them for energy. It's the whole reason people are fat in America today, because they eat way more than they need to, and we haven't evolved to that point. So our bodies are like, hey, I'm going to stash this away for later. Like I don't need all this food right now. I'm going to stash this for a rainy day because I might starve. And that's why we get fat. And that's why I'm wondering, like, why is it only 3 days it starts using muscle? Like, why? Those guys have some fat on them. I feel like they had some. I don't understand how any of that works. Maybe it means
fat and muscle. Maybe it means just eating your body, period.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
because 3 days sounds about right for when your body's going to start going after the reserves.
Right. And I thought if you had enough fat on you that it would just start burning that up first before it ever touched your muscle. But I suppose
people on Survivor, they some of them, gain weight before they go out there because they want those reserves. But it also does attack your muscle. Like I remember when Kelly Wentworth got back, she said it was so hard to put her muscle back on.
It was hard to put it back on?
Yeah, because she was really cut before she went. She, was there till day 38 or whatever, and she, lost most of her muscle. It took like a long time to get it back.
Eesh. Yikes. But yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Scary. It's always scary to think about your body eating itself.
Yeah, scary stuff.
Very.
Only other thing I could think of with those two is Jim saw a grouse and he threw a stick at it and he almost hit it. That was pretty cool.
Very close, but even if he would have hit it, would that have killed it? Or would it just
I don't know. It was
blown away?
it was a pretty big stick and he threw it pretty hard. I feel
Okay.
like it would have at least knocked it down.
All right.
I don't know if it would break its wings or
Oh.
you would need to do something like that, break its wings in order to stop it from just flying away. I mean, so I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. They never get an animal. Like, we know this. They'll get fish. They'll get crab. They don't get real animals. Ever.
Didn't somebody get like a small bird one time?
Yeah, I think Fowler caught a little bird.
Yeah, and it was tiny and he got like, I think there was
A
like
rush.
there was a pop-up bubble that said like this meal will give Fowler like 12 calories or something like
Yeah,
that, which is less than a large carrot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I just remembered when Fowler got sad about eating the things that tasted like carrots.
Oh yeah. It's like this tastes like carrots.
Remember when, like, I swear episode 4 last season, we were on like day 38.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What
And
are we
we're
on here?
Day 9.
10, 9, 10, yeah, something
Maybe
like
10.
that. Yeah.
No, it was day 9 when the Brockdorfs found each other. So
Right.
9 days is all.
I thought it was like day 10 when the crap, I forgot my winner picks last names.
The Whipples?
The Whipples, that's it. I think it was day 10 when the Whipples found each other, but
well, then why would they show that first?
I don't know. I don't know what their logic is.
True.
Winner picks or winner edit stuff, maybe like the winners show the winners last because it's Pete and Sam.
Pete and Sam. I thought the guy was gonna quit, and I was like, we just met them. You can't like tap out now because when he lost the axe. But then when they met each other, they didn't even mention the axe. But I guess there's still time for that.
Yeah, that's once again this show has some editing problems. Like I feel like
that's one of my main gripes with it. Like, they don't believe in actual storytelling. They believe in setting up a cliffhanger to make you come back from the commercial break, but then give you no payoff. Because they play the setup right after the commercial break again anyway.
Right. There's never any payoffs. They never deliver on what they say they're gonna do.
But you get that a lot with like these lower grade, and not to say anything bad about this show. I love this show, but like lower grade reality shows like your Deadliest Catch and Alone and Naked and Afraid, they do that. That's just what they do. It's like a time-saving, money-saving budget thing. I don't know.
Well, it's also, I feel like it's an audience thing. They're trying to just use every trick in the book to keep the audience hooked in, because they know that these types of shows, I feel like, are like channel flipping shows. People will like flip away.
Yeah.
You know, and you might lose them. So they're like, we got to keep them hooked in. I mean, but with the axe thing, that's not even really a cliffhanger. It's just like, I guess I shouldn't get upset. Yeah, we might see.
They're saving them for the end because he's going to tap. That's what I thought the whole episode.
Right, yeah. But I mean, yeah, like we'll see if they do discuss the axe being
not
lost.
Having an axe is a pretty big disadvantage, I would think.
Right. I just feel like
they would also have a machete of some sort.
Maybe they have one other tool or something, but
I hope so.
Yeah, because they'd be in a lot of trouble if they didn't have a knife or something.
Well, firewood, yeah, they know they have like multi-tools and stuff. They've got to have that.
Yeah, of all the things to lose, an axe is really bad. Actually,
you can't make an axe. You could make it out of stone. It won't be as powerful as a solid, expensive axe like they probably had.
It'll make life really tough out there without an axe or something to cut wood with. Maybe they have a saw or something.
I would think so. Brooke had a freaking huge saw.
So did who were the two brothers? Yeah, Jim and Ted. They I don't think they showed.
Yeah. Uh-oh, Dave? Uh-oh. Dave. Oh, crap. No. Hello? Dude, I have the same problem. All you need. Where's my cat?
Apologies. I think my computer locked up there. So here's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to resume this. I'm going to try and message Catie to get her back in here and see if we can make this happen. 1 second. Right, sending Catie the invite. And yeah, we're just going to pick it up where we left off because we had a good discussion going there. And if it's possible to salvage this podcast, we're going to try to do so we don't have to try to re-record the whole thing. So, but yeah, when she gets back, I think we'll pick up talking about Pete and Sam some more. We started talking about how they lost their axe. And we'll talk about some of the stuff that happened in the episode with them. So let me just text Catie and tell her I sent her an invite. And we'll see if this works. But yeah, let's just talk a little bit. Oh, here she is. Catie, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Cool. Well, I'm trying the resume hangout function. Never done this before.
Okay.
If that works. Ideally, it will just sort of like glitch out in the middle of the podcast and then sort of just jump in with this here where I resumed the podcast, brought you back in.
Yeah. Okay. That'd be good.
Here we are. I was just telling the audience that we're going to pick up talking about Pete and Sam some more because that's kind of where we were.
Right.
Talking about if they're ever going to talk about the axe. I think we covered that pretty thoroughly.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll come up, but whether it's on the show, I don't know.
Right. So, yeah, what else happened with Pete and Sam in this episode?
Well, I was getting really worried about Sam. He seemed very, whenever someone gets on that down on themselves kind of kick, where they're just spinning about how hard it is and how they want to give up. He literally said he wanted to give up. I was worried about him. And then his dad was saying how I'm too old for this, and I was just worried for them.
Too old for this shit.
Yeah. I was worried about them for a second, but it all turned around for him there at the end. I really thought that when Sam was walking around just in the random hopes of finding his dad, that he was like going to fall and hurt himself because that's how the season has gone. But no, it had a happy ending, so I was really happy about that.
Yeah, me too, that they found each other. I mean, it was an incredible moment when they found each other. Like, one of the best moments of the series, I think, was when Pete basically, you could see like the dawning of realization of how proud of his son he is. Like, how proud he is of his offspring. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like super deep.
Meanwhile, Alex and Logan are watching on the couch, and he looks at his son with disdain.
I know. I'm so glad you said that because I couldn't help but think of them in that moment. I was like, see, that's what's supposed to happen. But
at the same time, his son is 30-something, and Logan was all of 19. I mean, both 19-year-olds were the ones that were the first to quit. Like, 12 years on that kid, he could probably do it too.
Yeah, I have to say, even at Sam's age, I would quit.
Well, yeah, but these
and
guys
if I was
like
Pete, or if I was it Alex?
Yeah.
If I was Alex's age, I definitely would have quit. So
yeah.
It's so yeah, I don't want to sound like we could do better than he did.
That's by no means what we're saying, because we would die within an hour. I would.
Yeah, I might make it too.
We judge from afar on the television value, and also judge these people as humans.
Sometimes.
As characters on a television show.
Yeah, characters.
But
definitely.
yeah, I that was just really sweet when they found each other. I was really happy.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved that, just that expression on his face, and when he's like, my son. That's my son, and I love him a lot. And
I love how he was like, I didn't think you were gonna make it, or how he kept saying, I can't believe you made it. But then when he's talking to the camera, he's like, I knew he would make it. And
I think he just, I think it's a reflection of how difficult the conditions are out there. He just was like, man, there's no way. He's like, I'm just sitting here struggling, and I'm just sitting here. I don't even have to move. So he's
Mm-hmm.
like, I can't imagine what Sam is going through. And,
Yeah.
a little insight we're given from Sam in that scene. He says, I spent hours at a time on my hands and knees.
Yeah,
Like,
which we didn't see, but it's like,
we're never
why
going
would
to
he
see
film that?
something so boring, but
Yeah.
and yeah, how would he film it? Good point. But yeah, it's just interesting to think about how difficult that is. Like
Hmm.
hours on your hands and knees, just crawling through the bush.
You know what's funny though? I was about to say like that hike kicked everyone's ass, but two of the people that tapped were the shelter people, right?
Shelter people. Yeah, the two people that tapped are no, wasn't the young kid the
He was
no,
shelter.
he was shelter, and I don't know about the
Alex,
other
I
ones.
I think Logan was hiking.
Yeah, you're right. Two of the three, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Um, shall we move on to Dave and Brooke?
The Whipples?
Yes, let's move on to the Whipples.
Yeah.
They had a
Team
lot in this episode, didn't they? Wasn't it like mostly, or they kind of had the first half? The first half was
Yeah,
theirs.
they had a fair amount. Brooke just kept saying, "When's Dave gonna get here?" And she was trying to make a bed that would be good for him to rest on because it'd be
Right.
a more straight instead of on the slope. What else did she do?
At the beginning of the episode, she saw a
Oh,
giant spider.
yeah. See, that alone is enough to like make me not just never want to do this hike, never go there.
Right. Yeah, I'm
To
getting
that
better with
area.
spiders and stuff. I mean, but that's a fear. That's a thing I've had since I was a little kid, is like very irrational fear of spiders.
It's
And I'm
not
get
irrational. Did you see that thing?
yeah, I'm getting better, but yeah, when I see one like that, like some of them are just uglier than others, Some of
There's a
them are
reason people are afraid of spiders and snakes. They have poisonous teeth that can kill you or at
yeah.
least hurt you very badly. Like it's
Mhm.
not a baseless fear just because
Yeah.
they're ugly.
For me it's the ugly thing too though. I mean, the
Well,
bigger
yeah,
they
with
are,
snakes too, the
the it
slitheriness.
depends on their shape and how they move. Like it can get worse, and that was one of those spiders that would very much bother me a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Yep. Yep.
So just saying. Dave, he really can't let the black t-shirt thing go. Like
Can you explain to me why he has to put it on to hike? Is it his only t-shirt?
that's exactly what I have written here that I wanted to ask you. I'm like, why does he have to wear this? Didn't he bring like any other article of
Doesn't
clothing?
he have like one other Under Armour t-shirt he can put on?
Or just skip the t-shirt and put on the sweatshirt or something
Like he obviously wants to keep his home clothes dry, like his relaxing clothes completely dry. But I can't believe he only has one hiking shirt.
yeah, he really insists on wearing that black t-shirt. I don't get it. And then when he finally gets back, he's like, I'm never have to wear this shirt again. And then he's like, actually, yeah, I'll probably dry it out.
I hope he washes it with like, I don't know, freaking what do you wash with it in nature that can serve as like a soap?
They brought a bar of soap. That was one of their items.
Okay, well they need to use that whole
Use it.
bar of soap on that shirt if he's gonna wear it again.
Yeah, I can't remember if this was featured in the TV show or just the preseason thing. But they made a point that they wanted to bring a bar of soap because they thought that some of the comforts that make you feel human are just as important as the survival items. So I thought that was interesting. But
they might regret it when they have a bar of soap or a half-used bar of soap instead of like a machete.
A sword, yeah.
Yeah.
Dave has a pretty sweet rock jump in this episode.
Yep.
Pretty sweet.
I feel like most of the time has been spent on Brooke. I feel like I don't know that Dave that well. But maybe
we've
that's
gotten to see a little bit of his personality. He tries to keep it light, even though he's frustrated.
He seems very laid back. His wife seems like the dominant one in that relationship. The one with more personality.
I just think she's more of like a control freak, more of a hands-on, like
yeah. But also like more he's probably got his own personality, but it's very chill and mellow, whereas hers,
he's laid back.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Brooke hit her head on something, apparently.
Did she?
I think she just hit her head on like her own something she made or something when she was
No.
walking.
Could just be the shelter. She has to.
Yeah, her shelter. I think she hit her head on the doorway.
It's not very high.
Yeah, that was funny. She found a sweet net, like with a ton of rope and line and stuff. Yeah. And then
she's really killing it more than anyone, I would say.
Yeah, she's having a lot of successes, I feel like,
They don't show what she's eating though.
Yeah, but she seems fine. She doesn't look like she's starving.
But I remember the same issue with Catie last year. Like, she seemed to be thriving, but they never showed like what she was eating. Whereas with everybody else, it was like, I'm starving and I can't catch anything, and it was all about the food. You know?
I seem to remember Catie was a plant person though, and she was eating tons of plants.
But you can't just survive off of plants.
Not really.
Not in that situation.
No, not in that situation. But I do think Catie was one of those people who is willing to eat copious amounts of plants and can probably stomach it too, because she probably is like a vegetarian at home, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that was part of the reason she did okay out there. But yeah, you can't, like you said, you need a lot more calories and energy to burn.
Protein.
Than just plants are going to give you. But yeah, so they, Brooke and Dave find each other. They're checking each other out. Brooke says, "You've lost a lot of weight." And Dave's like, "You look fantastic." So there's that.
I liked how when they showed them hugging, they like Dave was bothering to like hold the camera out and film it, but that's not the shot they used.
Yeah, I saw that. He's like holding his arm out to the side.
Yeah, he's only using one arm to hug her.
Maybe his camera was like out of battery or something. He didn't even realize it. But yeah, Dave finally gets to sleep in the hobbit hole, and I feel happy for him in that.
Yeah. I feel happy for all the hikers when they get a chance to, rest. And I hope the Bairds get a chance. I hope they find each other. I'm going to be really bummed if they don't. Yeah,
I feel like the hikers should just take a day and sleep all day.
Sure. I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
And do.
Just one day of just laying there, at least, and then you can get back to work and try to feed yourself for however long.
Yeah, it's not even just to like be lazy. It's like necessary to recharge after, like these people cross mountains and streams and forded rivers, like maybe not rivers. I don't think so. But like they went through a lot. So they need a day of recovery at least.
Absolutely. And I think that's all I've got for this episode. Do you have anything?
Well, yeah, it was only 3 couples or pairs that we watched.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good stuff in this episode. I feel like it's better than one of the better ones of the season, if not the best. You get 2 couples finding each other.
Yeah, and now you're invested in these people because they're going to be here for a while. You're done with the extraneous people.
Yeah, and even though Jim and Ted, arguably the best characters on the show, didn't find each other, you have lots of good stuff from them in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a best episode of the season so far, I would say.
Yeah, I think, what do you think the chances are that Jim and Ted find each other?
I'm pretty sure in the previews they show that they do find each other.
What? How did I miss that? Oh, that's good.
There's like a part where they're yelling at they get on each other's nerves, like they cuss at each other and stuff.
Oh, darn. Well, so it's not going to be the happy reunion like these 2 were. Maybe that's why they put it in a different episode.
Well, I don't know that they'll yell at each other right away, but they're going to.
I hope not.
They're going to hate each other very quickly, I'm sure. As soon as they start starving, they'll start blaming each other for things, and just the way things go sometimes.
It's accurate with siblings.
Yeah, when you're starving, when you're hangry
and crabby,
beyond hangry.
Oh, Lord. Yep.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this one up. Sorry about the little glitch in the middle. Hopefully this podcast actually still works. I don't know. That's yet to be seen. But
if you made it this far, it did.
Yeah. So just want to say thanks for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at TV is our real mom. And be sure to like, comment, favorite, subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
Bye.